Hare Krishna. So Krishna is continuing the theme of mind being the friend and mind being the enemy. So let's try to understand that when does the mind becomes a friend and when does it become the enemy. Shloka number 6. Bandhur atmatmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitah anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. So here it is said, Bandhur atma atmana tasya yena atmanaiva atmana jitah. So here it is basically said, for a person who has controlled the mind, jitah, the one who has controlled the mind, for such a person, the mind is a bandhu, a friend. And anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. And the person who has failed to control the mind, for such a person, the mind is a shatru, a mind is an enemy. So when does the mind become friend? When the mind is controlled. And when does it become enemy? When it is uncontrolled. So let's see the various important points that Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport. The purpose of practicing eightfold yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. So when the mind is an enemy, when it is uncontrolled, it will always give ideas for degrading oneself. It will give ideas for sense gratification, and sense gratification will degrade us. And only when the mind is a friend, mind will actually give us ideas to help us to advance on the path of Krishna consciousness. So it's very important that any yogi, be it karma yogi, dhyana yogi, ashtanga yogi, or even for us as bhakti yogi, mind has to be controlled. Only when the mind is controlled, then it is possible that it will help us to move forward. Then here it is given, unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga is simply a waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. Now just imagine, when we have an enemy, we say far, and we know that that person is an enemy, what we will do? We'll keep a safe distance from the person, to such an extent that that person cannot harm us. But now the problem is, enemy is sitting within us. And it is always there with us. At times, the enemy is acting like a friend. Now, such an enemy who is acting like a friend is a very, very big problem and a very great danger that is there. Because that enemy who is acting like a friend will give ideas like a friend, but then that person or that particular enemy who is acting like a friend, he'll pull the person down and degrade the person. And since that enemy is acting like a friend, we will also keep complete faith in that friend. So such an enemy who is acting like a friend, is very, very dangerous, very dangerous. So it's very important to control the mind, or else we'll get degraded with time. And what will happen basically? Instead of marching towards the ultimate goal of human life, that is breaking the cycle of birth and death, what will we do? We'll just get stuck in the cycle of birth and death and keep doing sense gratification lifetime after lifetime. And this is exactly what is happening with so many materialists around. You take up any materialist, you see how their mind is uncontrolled, and in an uncontrolled way they do sense gratification. Mind is the culprit. Mind is the greatest enemy, and they are thinking that the mind is the greatest friend. My mind is giving such a nice idea to do sense gratification. Let me do this sense gratification. Let me do that sense gratification. And unfortunately, entire life they keep doing this and keep degrading their consciousness to the lower and to the most lower level of consciousness. And finally do what? At the end of life, when they leave the body, they get the most degraded body and they have to suffer for the same. So again, it's mentioned here that as long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. So when the mind is unconquered, what happens? The mind becomes a servant of lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. and the person literally has to suffer throughout. But when the mind is controlled, what happens when the mind is controlled? The mind will hear the instructions given by the Paramatma who is sitting in our heart, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it will follow the instruction that is given. So uncontrolled mind is the servant of all these anarthas, and the controlled mind is the servant of Krishna. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. One who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. So it's very clear. In Ashtanga Yoga, the person has to do all this finally to do what? To meditate on the Lord who is there in the heart and to hear Lord speaking and follow the instructions. But when it comes to us as Bhakti Yogis, for us it's so simple. The instructions are all given in Bhagavad Gita. Just read and follow. Simple. And the spiritual master, who is a representation of Lord Shri Krishna, he appears and he helps us to move forward. And the process itself that we have, like we discussed in the previous video, the process of Bhakti Yoga itself engages the mind completely in service of the Lord. So in this way, hearing the instructions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very easy in Bhakti Yoga. We hear directly from Bhagavad Gita, directly from the spiritual master, and when it comes to engaging the mind, conquering the mind, there is no separate endeavor needed. We have to just engage the mind in service of Krishna, and who will conquer the mind? Not we. Krishna will conquer our mind, and he'll conquer our mind and keep it controlled all the time. So in this way, a Bhakti Yogi, he relishes Krishna consciousness, then struggling with the mind more and more and more. And so mantra meditation, chanting of the holy names of the Lord becomes very, very important. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, our mind is getting purified, our mind is getting controlled, and our mind is directly associating with Krishna. We are directly associating with Krishna, and we can pray to Krishna that, oh Krishna, you take charge of me and my entire existence, which also includes mind. So this is the glory of a person who is practicing Bhakti Yoga. Now, after telling all this, Krishna is going to highlight various benefits and various symptoms of a person who is practicing the final levels of Ashtanga Yoga. Basically, the one who is there in the Yoga Rudha stage. So let's see that in the next video. Hare Krishna.